Yeah. Weird game. Credit to St. Mary's. I thought we got off to a decent start. I think we were up 4 or 5 midway through the first half. I didn't think they particularly came out the gates, as good as they have in some of these previous games. And I thought we had an opportunity to probably build a bigger lead than we did. Um, we were okay to start the game. I didn't think we were great either. And credit to them, they went on that run to end the first half. Some foul trouble bit us a little bit, going to the half down 14, and could never really get it within striking distance. I had a few possessions in the second half, I think, where it was 8, 10. I know we missed a layup, I think, that would have cut into the lead. And those are kind of momentum killing plays. But we weren't good enough, in a lot of facets of the game, and we need to own that, accept that, and try to get better. And that's what we're going to do. It's not good enough. To beat a team like that, you cannot beat yourself in certain areas, and credit to them. When we had a mishap, when we had a missed assignment, when we did not follow the scout as well as we should have, that's what, top 25 teams do, and their guards had great nights for them. And credit to them. They're a very good team. There's a reason why they've been as consistent as they are.
Coach, probably a bit of a lackluster offensive performance. How much of that would you attribute to St. Mary's stellar defense?
I mean, they're one of the best defensive teams in the country. First half 36%, second half we shoot 48%, which is pretty good. And I feel like we missed some bunnies that maybe could have made that a little bit higher. But really, I think the game was, you don't lose a game in the first half, but that last 7 minutes of the first half really changed the whole flow and the whole momentum of the game. And credit to them. We're a team that, likes to play with some pace and get up and down the floor. I thought they did a good job of controlling the tempo. We tried to go to some press, to try to speed the game up, and they kind of they went through it a few times to score, but they put the brakes on majority of the time and it just continued to run offense and bleed clock. So credit to them. Credit to them. We need to be a lot better.
To beat them,
Mm-hmm.
what's one or two things you have to do that maybe you didn't do tonight? Obviously, you want to score more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's funny to say because they're a great team, but scouting them, it's not anything complicated. You're going to see a lot of ball screens. They're going to play through the post and kind of putting a game plan together. You have to be willing to play 30 seconds of defense. And that is the goal when playing them. And it's hard to do, and it's hard to be disciplined and stay on point in terms of what the scout is for a full 30 seconds. And that's what makes them good, And then on the offensive end, they're one of the better team defensive teams in the country. And I thought we had some things that we probably could have exploited a little bit more. I think in the second half, going to more ball screens, putting their 4s and their 3s in ball screens, I think was a good look for us. So we'll watch a film, break it down, and formulate a better plan for the next time we play them.
Outside of tonight's game, I believe that Julian is out for the rest of the season,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously he started early on in the season. He had a rather rough year, but you're still in the rotation, and it's still a big hit for you guys. So what was your message to the team after the news of Julian's timetable?
That's a good question. First off, as a coach, you never want to see, a guy who's put so much time and energy into the program go down with an injury like that. And it was a pretty severe injury that he suffered at the end of the Portland game. And unfortunately, he's going to be out the rest of the year. He's going to have surgery, and he'll come back better and stronger. It stinks for him. Sometimes 18 to 22-year-olds, they want everything right now, but it's going to be okay, and he's going to bounce back. But for our team, it's really next man up. This happens all across college basketball, and that's why you have 13 guys on scholarship. It's next man up. Tonight it was maybe a little bit more Justin Beaker. I think Isaiah Hawthorne's minutes will go up, and I was actually proud of the way that he competed in the second half. And Marcus Williams' minutes will probably go up too. So it'll be by committee. Unfortunate for us because Julian had a really good game down at LMU 2 games ago and felt like he was close to kind of hitting a stride. But we'll adjust and move forward. That's all we can do. There's no excuses.
What is the injury?
He tore his ACL, MCL, and PCL. So pretty.
Right or left?
That's a great question. I think it's his right. Is right. Yeah, is his right. Thank you. But again, it was a non-contact injury, kind of freak injury at the end of the Portland game, and sad to see him go down. But I have full confidence that he'll be back in 100%.
I've seen Khalil play a lot of times, and I don't think I've ever seen him struggle as much as he did tonight. How much of that was Mahaney's defense, and how much of it was just an off night for Khalil?
Probably a combination of the two. I thought, Aiden did a good job in their coverages, and it was one of those nights for Khalil. I've seen him maybe have a similar night, in my 2 years here, but I've also seen him, be the best player on the floor, and that's what we expect. It was one of those nights, and I thought he got a tad bit sped up in some segments of the game and maybe started pressing a little bit. But we need him and Ty Roberts to kind of lead the ship. And for whatever reason, he had an off night, and it's on the other guys to step up. It's not one guy winning a game or one guy losing a game. We're a collective unit. So somebody else needed to step up and, take on the slack when he was having a down night.
Last one from me.
Mm-hmm.
You're now 1-5 in conference.
Yep.
The 4 other losses, you easily could have won those games.
Yep.
Tonight, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you take from this game, the first time that you really were handled?
Yep.
And for the last 2/3 of the conference season?
Yeah, I mean, there's a thin line that separates winning and losing, and there is no woulda, coulda, shoulda. If we made this shot, then we would have. That's not how the game works. The reality is we're 1-5. The reality is we have 2 great opportunities next week to win games on our home floor, and we got to figure out a way to win Thursday night, period. And that's all we will talk about all week. There's no magic formula to turn the record around. We can just take it one game at a time and stay very short-sighted. We need to get better as a unit, as a group. And I firmly believe we can win every game on our schedule, and then sometimes basketball is fickle like that. You have to go on runs, get hot at the right time. I believe in our team. I believe in our group, so we're going to stay at it. We're going to keep pounding on the wall, and eventually it's going to break. And that's a message that we're going to continue to send to the group.
Coach Saba got his second straight DNP. What was the thought process?
Yeah, he's been sick, the last week and really hasn't practiced full go, under the weather. And I just thought it was a disservice to him to throw him in there after not doing much the last week, So we need to get back. We need to get him back in the fold. Another interior guy with, good size that can help us on the defensive end. But, I anticipate him having a great week of practice and being ready to go on Thursday.
Coach, during some of these stretches where you guys are struggling on offense, is there anything you can do from a game plan perspective to try to manufacture some offense?
For sure. I mean, I thought in the first half we were playing the right way up until about the 8-minute mark. And then we had some possessions where we kind of reverted from what's good for us, and there was a little bit too much one-on-one play. Unfortunately, St. Mary's kind of forces you to do that at times. But I thought we got a little sped up, and we've been working on having better flow into offense. And I thought, Portland, we were pretty efficient offensively, minus the turnovers. We shot a good percentage from 2, shot a good percentage from 3. There's been games where we have done that, but consistency has kind of been the Achilles heel for our group. And that's going to be something that we continue to try to address and get better at.
Coach, from me. You said that Marcus will get more minutes eventually with Julian out. And something essential in the box score is he was the only Don with a positive plus minus. He was +8 with 8 points on 4 shots, limited to under 16 minutes though with the 5 fouls. So how do you assess his performance?
Yeah, we need him to be on the floor more. You know, he's a guy, especially when he's in with Khalil and Tyrell, a lot of times a 3-man on the other team gets matched up with him. And I think we need to take advantage of that a little bit more, you know, in terms of putting him into ball screens, letting him kind of operate with those other 2 guys on the floor. And we have been doing that a little bit more over the last few games. And tonight, the foul trouble in the first half kind of bit him and hurt us as a team, too. He's a guy who has really good pace in ball screens and probably is the best operating out of 2-man games on our team. So we need to get his minutes up. We need to keep him out of foul trouble. He's gotten better as the year's gone on, and we need him to be better going forward, for sure.